What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. I apologize for the delay because I don't know. It's always something with this fucking light, and I can adjust it, I can fix it, and it's always an issue. But welcome to the best conversation on the internet. Apologize for the vent and everything else that's going on with it. But welcome to the best conversation on the internet. You may ask, well, why is this the best conversation on the internet? And it's really an extremely simple answer. And the reason is because of you wonderful people who come and join the conversation each and every evening, and just make this community what it is. So, man, I thank y'all for being here. If you don't know, I am your host, Ed Honcho. Again, it's an honor, it is a privilege, and most of all, it is my pleasure to chop it up with you guys every night, or Monday through Friday. Let's see what we got joins. We're gonna get into simping, right? We're gonna talk about simping. What is simping? Is it really that bad to be a simp? And like this new revival of the words. I'm like, these young generations, they kill me because they think they've invented shit, and it's really old shit that we used to use a long time ago, and they just now discover it again, like simping, like clout, words like that, shit that was used in the 90s, 80s, whatever. And now they use it and think they've come up with something new. But let's see who we have joining us, and then let's get into it. For the early birds, I have Jason S. We've been graced by the Graces, Miss M. Grace and Miss K. Grace. I'm glad both of you ladies are doing well. The Don of the Discord, a.k.a. Mr. Cultured. Jackie A. in the building. Infinity, who used to be a pimp, who is the artist formerly known as Infinity Pimp. I don't think he's sipping, but I don't think he's no longer pimping. Jay's Portrait, what's the motherfucking deal? 335, appreciate you joining the membership.
Honcho does the
you,
hat
sir.
comes with the dreads.
Miss Rashida,
thoughtful face,
who
nerd face,
we're
smiley
gonna talk about
face.
Rashida a little bit later. Miss Jess Sarah, Eastside Hero in the building. John from New York, aka my favorite New Yorker. Miss Marie Lovely, how are you? I hope all is well. Let's see. Sports Goat, what's the motherfucking deal? Trixie McFly, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Sweetberry, oh, I guess she was here on time. I must have name blindness to Miss Sweetberry. Miss Bell, what's the motherfucking deal? Miss Bell, what was that? I'm not paying attention. Let's see. Mr. Bryson in the building, what's the motherfucking deal? Footballer 503, what's the motherfucking deal? D Love McVice, what's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. Does the hat come with the dreads? No, dreads not included. Professor Trio, what's the motherfucking deal? And let's see. A Honcho hat with dreads on that would actually be that would be amazing, right? I wonder how much that would cost. I wonder if I can find somebody who would fulfill those orders. That's actually a super great idea. And yes, after months and months, after months and months, yes, finally, a Honcho the main Sancho shirt. I've actually had it for like almost 2 weeks now. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like I was waiting on something else to arrive, and it's like I had another package that's been sitting in Chicago for like 12 days. I think it finally moved yesterday because again, I don't know if they lost the track. I don't know what the fuck happened to it, but so it finally moved yesterday. Hopefully that'll come in. I got a couple of different looks with that. You say the membership for Salzburg County into it's going to be different on different things, but like I don't think it'll give you the emojis because I think you got to because it's like independent of each channel. But if you got love in the sauce, you got love in the den for me, and we'll see what we can make happen. Look, Jack. It ain't that the shirt is tight. See, it's loose all right here. It's just that guns. They ain't in the safe. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep the guns in the safe, kids. We don't want nobody getting hurt. But a lot of stuff going on. We'll talk about simping. Got a lot of other topics for the rest of the week that we will be getting into. And remember, hey, and I know I still have some old topics that some of you sent me before. Actually, I went on vacation. I still want to get to those. Some of those we're going to touch on this week. And hold on, I want to say real quick. Well, I got some on my mind. We're going to get into it. So, I will put these shirts in the store, if not after the stream tonight, first thing in the morning, which is super crazy. And I got some more Honcho color hats, but I don't know how many. I'll explain it here in a minute. Because I use a different shirt to get the hat. I mean, a different service to get the hats than I do the other stuff. People have asked me about hats, but hello, Heidi. Yeah, that's we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that on close to Friday about opening shit all the way back up. So we're gonna get into that. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Simping should only be to a certain degree. I think if you're a simp, I think you're all in or you're all out. I think that what was it? Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. I don't think ain't no such thing as halfway simps. And the reason why I want to bring this up, this is, when the damn people take things particular, it's not a shot at anybody. This is not anything with any of the recent discussions that we've had, so I don't want anybody taking it personal. It has nothing to do with that, but I was just thinking about some things. that we were having certain conversations and some stuff I saw outside of the community. And it's a real interesting term, too. You have the term white knights, right? Which basically, or dudes, are basically simps, they call them. Do anything to save the women. Is there such thing as a black knight? I wonder if what that kind of slang would be, what they would refer to. I'm not talking about the Martin movie. So, here's my thing, right? Simping. What is simping? Simping is basically, let's put this right. 'Cause some people will say, a trick and a simp are the same thing, and I don't think that's necessarily the same thing. 'Cause I know a lot of it now is, you're a simp if you're tricking off to those tricks on the tricks on the OnlyFans, right? And who did I tell the other evening that they need to get an OnlyFans? I fucking forgot whoever I said need to get an OnlyFans. But my thing is just like this, right? I look at it like this. Sometimes you want to buy what you want. And if you got money for it, again, I told you I had a friend, he's no longer with us, but he really changed my perspective on how it comes down to, what tricking is and all those things. And like I said, he used to be well off, doing real good for himself. And what he did was, he was a hard-working guy, and he would indulge in some, top-notch escorts from time to time. And I was just like, oh, that's terrible. It ain't tricking if you got it. But like I say, and I talked about his explanation a while back, and it makes complete sense, right? But I think tricking and simping are different things. You can just be like, I think if you're tricking, you're just trying to break bread to get what you want. It is what it is. But if you're simping, it's not just the money aspect. Like, tricking is breaking bread to get the pussy. I think if you simping, I don't think you ever get the pussy. Like, that's that's where the simping goes to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, tricking, yeah, you breaking bread for the pussy. That's one thing. But I think simping, you breaking bread, you doing favors, you're doing all of these things, but like, you never ever have a chance to get you never get the pussy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's kind of where it is. Who's the biggest simp? Y'all know who I think it is, personally. You know what I'm saying? And we'll just leave it at that. And it's a person. It's an athlete, in my opinion. I heard about iDubbbz or something like that. That he has a girlfriend on OnlyFans or something like that. But here's my thing though, right? Is she like wilding out on OnlyFans? Or is she just like getting money off niggas who breaking bread? Like, is he tricking to her on OnlyFans? Like, if they eating together and it is what it is, I ain't mad at it. Like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's how they coming up and that's what they want to get into, cool. Now, if he has an OnlyFans girlfriend and she's claiming it and she don't ever claim him and he's breaking a bunch of bread on it, well then, There's that. Yes, I'm talking about Russell Wilson. Absolutely talking about Russell Wilson. And, there's that. But, so like I said, I'm seeing all this stuff, and I think you have this correlation. Like, I think you can be a nice dude and not necessarily be a simp. It's all about what your intentions are. Some people consider being in the friend zone a form of simping. I don't think that's not the same thing. Like I said, I think simping has a lot more of the. It's a lot more about your actions, as someone said earlier, your mindset, and the outcome that you're hoping for. Like, you could be trying to smash a chick, but you may not necessarily be tricking and breaking bread. And you could just get put in the friend zone. You over listen to all the problems and doing all this other shit, and just maybe you may have just got slipped into the friend zone. It is what it is. Accept your losses and move on. But some people get put in the friend zone and know they're in the friend zone, but think that they can simp their way out of it, which only digs a bigger hole, and you're just gonna be, like I say, a shoulder to cry on for more problems. You're gonna be listening about other niggas. You're gonna be the one trying to come in like Superman. Simping is. Simping is almost like the basis of a lot of old school R&B. And I hate to say it, right? Because old school R&B was good music. I mean, it was good music, but there's a lot of simpery going on in the old school R&B. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Maybe that's why women loved it so much. But here's my thing, right? And this is why I say it's so bad to really be a simp. And I'm opening up the lines. So I'm not gonna spend too much more time talking a whole lot. So I want to know your thoughts on it. Like I say, make sure we get everything on the up and up. Women say that they want a nice guy, right? Say they want a nice guy who's going to treat them like this and do all these things. That's, if you ask any woman, that's what she's going to tell you. Like, if she's, depending on how well you know her, that's going to be your generic female. I just want a nice guy who treats me like a queen, and he just respects me, and you got lots of dudes out here that do this. There's a lot of simping out there. I mean, that's why prostitution is as big of an industry as it is. I'm not saying that every man that tricks off can't go get some action, but I would say the majority of dudes who are fucking with prostitutes have, like, there's generally an issue. Now some niggas like, man, I just don't want to fucking deal with the bullshit. What do they say? You pay a prostitute to leave, not for the sex. But, some guys, that may be the only option that they got. My thing is this, right? You say the dudes that knows that the woman's promiscuity ignores but believes. No, I don't think that. I don't think that's it. Because, like I say, this motherfuckers. Like, I don't think simping has to do with the level of promiscuity. Like, because you can be a simp on a virgin. You could simp on a virgin. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that has anything to do with that. Like, and this is what you gotta understand. Simp is an old school term. This ain't nothing new. Simping has been around longer than some of us have been alive. You know what I'm saying? At the term. So it's like, it has nothing to do with promiscuity. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, whether the body count be 1 or 1,000, I don't think that has anything to do with it. Because, like I said, it's a lot of niggas out here tricking because they think these women are angels or whatever they may or may not be, and they just have this.
Strong and Grand donated $5 through Super Chat. You ain't a pimp, you a fairy. Pimp C, R.I.P.
Oh, Pimp C was the fucking GOAT, man. You ain't a pimp, you was a fairy. No, I'm gonna disagree with you on that too. Like, some motherfuckers just don't care, because here's the thing. Like, if you're not insecure about yourself, you don't give a shit. I mean, this motherfuckers who go out and they marry fucking porn stars or whatever it is. There's a lot of motherfuckers who do very well off of themselves, and they deal with bitches that are. It's like, it's not. Simping is the mindset. It has nothing to do with the other party. The simp is all about the individual who's doing the behavior. Because it doesn't matter if the chick is, like I said, it don't matter who the chick is. If you're a simp, you're going to simp with all women. It's not going to be like, well, I'm only simping to this one chick. Every other chick, I'm going to pimp down on the rest of these hoes, but just this one, I'm simping off this one. No, if you simping, you're simping. It's the whole, it does. Simping has nothing to do with a sexual relationship. that has nothing to do with that. Like, I mean, you're putting your own context on it, and I get it. But simping has to do with the actions. It's not about a sexual relationship at all. Like, it has nothing to do with it. You could be a work husband simp, you know what I'm saying? And you could be out there buying this chick all kind of stuff. If you don't ever get the sex, it's not a sexual relationship. Like, it's a lot of motherfuckers who simp on these hoes just hoping that they can be with them, just to spend time with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. Like, it doesn't matter if you're having sex or not. I don't think it's about the sex. It's about the character and their person. What you talking about? R. Kelly's a predator. Well, yes. What are y'all talking about? Want a guy who's rich, hot, and he's cool. Terrible. You must be on your. I want to talk about something real quick. Because let's be real, simps don't get no sex, so it can't be about sex. That's what I'm saying. A simp is not getting any pussy. That's what I'm saying. So how is it about a sexual relationship? It's more about hopes and dreams than anything else. A simp is getting left out. He promoting all the hoes around the club. He doing all this other shit for him, but he gets nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you can kind of. I think that simping could be. Yeah, I think you can simp on a family. And what I mean by this is say why I don't always think it's sexual. It's that over promotion of women and like they can do no wrong. You can simp on a family member. Think about I don't know if y'all remember that story happened in Philadelphia a couple of years back. Chick on the bus starts an issue with somebody. Man on the bus basically checks her for the shit. She mad because she was in the wrong. She called up her brother or cousin, whoever, Pookie Ray Ray and Josephine Johnny, and they waiting at the bus stop to shoot the fucking bus up because they ghetto ass trash cousin don't know how to control herself and can't handle getting checked, for being in the wrong. And now they doing time because they were all on camera. I'm sure she got some time behind it too for nothing. That's simping. If you're willing to throw your life away and the shit you got going on, basically, behind a female, whether she's your family member, whether she's just some random chick, whatever it may be, you are definitely, you're definitely in the simping category. The Simpsons simp on each other. They're simping with family love. But, the Simpsons, it's all terrible. Why am I so mad about it? Why am I mad? Where's my anger? I have no anger. I honestly don't care. Strong and Grant says they used to be a simp and nice to these brothers, started drinking the drug and being a jerk. This is what we're going to get to here in just a second. Oh.
Strong and Grand donated $5 through Super Chat. I used to be a simp and nice to these bras. Then I started drinking and drugging and being a jerk. College was fun after that.
Make sure it alert me that I already went. And then shout out to Miss Grace. Thank you for becoming a member and getting access to all the fancy emojis. And this is where, again, this is why I started talking about not liking the terms alpha and beta and all. Because everything's dynamic. Everything has levels, right? Because there are dudes who can be very alpha, check off all the alpha boxes around other men. And that's an alpha dude right there. He gets all the pussy, and can be very soft when it comes to women. Very beta when it comes to women. Motherfuckers who be very beta around other dudes, but when it comes around women, they have no problem trying to handle and manhandle women or be aggressive or whatever you want to call it when it comes to women. So that's why I say it's dynamics to all of this shit, and experience shows you that there is no one size fits all. And again, I don't know. I don't look at motherfuckers like that. That's a real alpha guy right there. Who is this nigga? You know, and it is what it is. But yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I hate the term alpha and beta. It's not. It's become so generic that I don't even think it fits anymore. What's being considered an alpha is not necessarily an alpha. What's considered a beta is, again, like I said, it's more to just
Hunter donated
that,
$1.
and that's kind of my
First
thing.
step to overcoming symptom is admitting it. Hashtag we're Simping.
Yes. Yeah. The first sign of a situation is to realizing that you're having a problem, man. The COVID meme. I heard about that, and I never I only like saw that today, and it was talking about where it came from because somehow I ended up on a know your meme site because I was looking for a picture to use with a thumbnail on this, and it took me to the site about that guy. So that's terrible. But I don't know. I mean, you could be in that whole super red pill community if that's what you believe, that there's no definition to it unless people find a suitable definition that they like. It's a big, huge dude. He's a real gay guy. But here's what I'm saying. And this is what I'm saying because what people believe and perceive to be alphas, and again, you know, people tell you can be trained to become an alpha. Or you can do all of if you can do all of them, like, is there really a standard definition? If you can go from one aspect of it to a different, you can shift. I mean, is it really a thing? So I don't really don't get into it. Like I say, you know, it just is what it is. And a lot of the shit that a lot of motherfuckers push, a lot of questionable advice out there. When you talk about alpha and beta and all this, none of that shit matters. Like, none of that shit matters. Like, and again, you're entitled to believe what you believe. That's like never been a thing I've ever used, and it's never been an issue. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is what it is. Who is AMS? I don't even know who that is. Let me say, you chased a lot of good people out of my life who haven't failed that. Man, trust me, I comprehend, I get it. The man, yeah, because it's not as popular as it's supposed to be. It's a big, swole ass dude, but he's a big gay guy. I forgot what he said, because it said his name, and I think he's dead, though, yeah. Died like in 2016. Let's get this party started. Oh, alpha male strategy? Well, I don't know. That's just, like I say, it's not a thing. Like I say, you decide what you're willing to take, man. Like, here's my deal, right? And then let's get into it, because even with this simping thing, there's a point that I want to get to, and that's why I asked the simping really that bad. If you're happy doing what you're doing, if you feel like that's the way that, if you feel like that's the way that is going to work for you, then do it. Who gives a fuck what anybody else thinks? Like, that's why we're probably going to disagree on a lot of stuff. There's a lot of gay women. Like, it is what it is. If there's gay men, there's gay women, and even if you flip flop and alternate and switch pieces and doing all that other stuff, it's the same thing. Shaolin, what's the motherfucking thing? What's the motherfucking thing? I'm looking at you like, what's the motherfucking deal? Because it's like this. Again, there is no dynamic. All right, it is dynamic. There's no straight, cut and dry. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's like, and so to sit in and like say, I don't know who Alpha Male is. I don't really care about shit, because again, like say, anybody can come up with a set of strategies that's going to work. But here's the real deal. Like, when it comes to all this pickup artists, all that other crazy, hey, be confident in yourself. Don't look like a whole complete weirdo, and have a little bit of conversation, and you're pretty much good. Like, if that's what you need, like a lot of advice for, figure those things out. Like, but a motherfucker can tell you this whole play, and because I looked into that, because I saw about the community, I read what was it, Neil Strauss's book, The Game. And we're finna get into this, I promise, a while back. And I read it, I'm like, this is what people are going crazy. Because if you look at these motherfuckers who, especially pickup artists and all of them, they're a bunch of weird looking people. Like, they're weirdos. They all look like weirdos, right? And so you could tell like there was like a transitionary point in their life where they used to be a geek or something weird, and they had this change in who they are now. You know what I'm saying? But if you had to train to become that, were you ever really that? Are you really that? Or are you just playing a role? You know what I'm saying? So my thing is just be true to you, man. Fuck all these people trying to give you all this crazy ass relationship advice. If you're happy who you are, being who you are, then be happy doing that. Like, because what I think is super weird is that, like, and this is what I say about the alpha, beta, and all the other stuff, why I really don't get into it. It's like, because when you're coming down all that, you're basically seeking approval from another man. I don't give a fuck what another dude thinks about me, because I'm not out to try to impress some dude. Like, so alpha, beta, I don't say whatever you want to. This shit's all lame, right? I gotta look manly to these other men. I gotta play, man, fuck them dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my whole thing. And if you feel like, oh, he's a beta or whatever, test the motherfucker out. You may be surprised. Some of the motherfuckers you thought were alpha, well, the only way they're able to pull that is because the environment allows them to pull off that guy. Some of the dudes you thought were beta, they just don't give a fuck about the same shit that you're considering to be worthwhile. Now, there are some dudes who are just very effeminate and very weak, and they are who they are. They're definitely not going to win. But just trying to come with this whole binary, either you're alpha or beta, bro. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. But okay, but then again, now what you're saying was what was objective is now subjective. It depends on what a woman feels. Well, a lot of weird women that's into that weird shit nowadays. A lot of women that's not. So, depending on who you ask, your argument becomes null and void, or it no longer makes sense. I don't know. But let's open up the line, and we might make that a topic for another day. But I want to get into the simping thing, right? Is it really bad to be a simp? Because I think alpha and beta and simping is something else too. Broderick, what's the motherfucking deal? I gotta do what? Heidi, what are you talking about? What is here? Put COVID meme guy on the screen? I'll see if I can find one in the background. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can pull off. You say mode 1? Write that down. Beta and simp person? No, I don't think so. You could just be a weak ass dude, right? You could be a weak ass dude, which you could call a beta, and not necessarily be tricking on hoes and shit. You could just be a weak ass dude. You know, maybe weak ass dude that hates the hoes because the hoes hate him. So it's not that he's necessarily simping or whatever it may be. Oh, I'm just not seeing that. Okay. And then, like I said, I know it's niggas who beta as fuck, what you may consider beta around you, they still fuck hoes. Like, your ability to have sex with women, I don't think determines whether you're a beta or alpha. Like, that has nothing to do with it. Simping is the methodology in which you choose to engage women. And I still don't think that simping has to do with the amount of sex that you're getting, you know? So, because again, you could be a beta and you could be a simp, but you could be paying a lot of hoes for a lot of pussy, you could still be fucking a lot, right? That's how the business transaction goes. And I would try to pull up. But see, I didn't even see, like, I just heard old buddy was a COVID meme guy, but I haven't seen it, but I'll pull him up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, what I'm saying is, you can be a beta, right? around a bunch of dudes. You know, you could be the motherfucker that gets picked on. You could be the motherfucker that everybody clowns and laughs at. And so around a bunch of men, the motherfucker could feel real weak. But it could be something about this motherfucker when he's around a bunch of women, he feels empowered. And so he turned into man. I've seen it. Like, I've seen motherfuckers who, if you'd have asked me at that time, I'd have swore they were the gayest people on the face of the earth.
Just Sarah donated $5 through Super Chat. 10-minute
fucking
rule.
with the hoes
If
or
it's
whatever
boring,
else.
donate for every minute wasted or the call will magically drop. 1 o'clock. Eyes. Celebratory hands in the air. Celebratory hands in the air. Smiley face. Smiley face.
That's something here. I know that. Son of a bitch. But like I said, you know, my thing is this. Hold on, let's get the line open. Appreciate the love, Miss Jess. Say 10-minute rule. Yes, 10-minute rule will be live and in effect because I know the calls can get long. Now that we already got somebody calling in. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
It's your boy Eastside.
Eastside. What's the motherfucking deal, man? What's on your mind, Mr. Eastside?
Now, you know I had to touch in on this subject. Man, I think it's levels to everything, man. First of all, I can say I've
Grace
simped
donated
in my life.
$5. Simps
I
ship
can't say I
themselves
ain't
up
never
with
simped in my
disinfectant.
life. That'll be a motherfucking lie. That would be the biggest lie of all time. I can't say I ain't gonna never simp again in my life. I can't say it won't never come a time where, oh man, have my simp. It depends. It depends on what it is, what you willing to simp for. You know what I'm saying? What it is that catch your eye, like, man, that might get you out of character. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm like? I like the Latinas and the snow bunny.
Yeah.
If anything that could get me to simp, if anything that might make me go that way, hey man, that might be it. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's right, but you know, we all simped in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, when you simp, do you know you simping, or when you simp, are you living in that simp state? Is it 24/7 simp? Is it that for you? Nah, that's not me. And you know what I'm saying? It comes with age, man. It's like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me give you an example. Like, are you sitting on the phone and you know what I'm saying? You just talking to a female and you know you just telling her like she's trying to tell you all her problems and all this and whatever she say, you tell her she right and you know what I'm saying? You're trying to reach a goal and you know what I'm saying? And you might tell her, hey man, yeah, you were right, he was wrong. You might pull a Drake on him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every Drake lyric, you just might be rehearsing it to her, and you telling her this. But if it's a real home girl that you really talking to, and she's telling you her situation, you gonna tell her, hey man, you was wrong in that. You know what I'm saying? If it's a female that you just really cut for, and she gonna respect you. You tell her she was wrong right here, she was right there. You know what I'm saying? But you just telling her she right all the time, she can do no wrong, and all this old fuck ass shit. You know, that's the simp mind state. You know what I'm saying? And what else? I think simp has just became such a broad term. Like it's just like a big umbrella now. It's like if you didn't gave a female some money, are you a simp? I mean, I've done that. I can't say I never done that before. I'd be lying. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling the God's honest truth here.
Yeah.
What I think has messed up the game really, that's really messed up the game, is Cash App. I got cash out, but I be telling the females, nah, I ain't got it.
Yeah.
Because when you be on Instagram, that'd be like the first thing a female will ask you about.
Yeah.
It's like you can't even initiate no conversation. Like, oh, you got cash out. I tell them, hell nah. I got something, but it's on me. You know what I'm saying? Let's meet up. And most of the time, it's a no. Most of the time, it's 9 times out of 10, it's a no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you ain't got cash out. They look at you there. They think something wrong with you telling you ain't got cash out. What's wrong with you? Nah, I ain't got cash out. I'm just a little older, a little wiser. Nah, I ain't got cash out. I got it on me. Let's meet up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, you not with it? Oh, okay. Well, let me keep my money. It's better anyway. But the 20-year-old me would have probably broke my neck trying to, you know what I'm saying? 20-year-old me, man, I'm gonna go find you. And okay, you say you need that, and you just gotta grow out of certain stages.
I agree.
Just my opinion, you know what I'm saying? This is all my opinion, man. Somebody might feel some type of other way about it. They might come on here like, nah, I ain't never simped. I never tricked no money. I'm not me, you know. Man, hey, bro, okay. Never in your life, okay. Whatever you say, brother.
I think most fellas have at least a simping story. I mean, at some point in time,
Yeah.
I think, and I think that, it's super funny because a lot of women will say, oh, men ain't shit, this, oh, he a dog, he this. I guarantee 98% of those men that most women say is a dog or is this, and it started out as a good dude. Started out as an all right guy and had a situation, usually at a younger age, dealing with a chick who put him in a very fucked up situation that altered his mentality, and he probably went through some things and he's just like, I'll never go through this again. And he started handling women a lot differently. I feel like it's usually always one that you can go back and pinpoint and understand when the behavior changed or when the way he responded to relationships or dealing with the opposite sex changed, and you can almost pinpoint it to usually the one female.
Man, I can honestly say my little center story, man. My center story, what changed me and fucked me up all in the fucking head was my baby mama. You know what I'm saying? She used to always put me in little fucked up positions with her family, and you know what I'm saying? It'll always be some bullshit. And I used to, you know what I'm saying? I used to think her family was fucked up.
Yeah.
But it come to find out just over the years, it wasn't never the family. It was the common denominator was her.
Yeah.
But I didn't find this shit out till over years. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, man, I was thin and bullshit behind her. You know what I'm saying? And I was the simple-minded motherfucker, like, oh, that's my baby mother. That's the mother of my kids. I've got to. I gotta believe her. What she say is Lord. You know what I'm saying? Just law. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? It took me a while. That was the hardest part of the simping that I had to overcome. And you know what I'm saying? They're like, God damn, I was really like that. You just really look back on shit. You're like, fuck, was that me? Yeah, it was you.
And so when you kind of realized that, did that impact the way you looked at women as a whole?
Oh man, I don't know, man. You hear how I talk? I do respect women, to believe it or not. But I just think women go through certain stages in their life, man, and whatever part you catch them on is the part you catch them on. You know what I'm saying? Some women are cool and they do their thing and they'll be up front with you. Some will be completely whores and they'll sit up there and lie to you and want you to believe a lie. I'd rather if you just a whore, tell me straight up and I'm gonna accept you for you. Be straight up with me.
Yeah, straight up.
I'm at the age where I accept her for what it is, but I'm not gonna think in my mind like, oh, this is the Holy Virgin Mary. Nah, I know what you are, and I might not say it to your face, but I know it, and I don't want you to think you getting over on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type like I'm more mad that you thought that you got over on me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather be a female tell me straight up, and if you're dealing with an older woman and you keep it real with them, they'll respect you more. You know what I'm saying? Then some of these younger females. If you 20-some years old, man, I'm 38. If you're like 23 and I run into you in the bar, I might simp. I might talk to you on the phone and tell you all that little bullshit. Might want to listen to your problems. So I'm gonna throw the initial bait out there, man. Yeah. I might, hey man, you need your gas tank. I might throw that initial little bait out there, and that's simping, that's tricking, or whatever you might call it. Mm-hmm. But you don't think she's gonna take that free fill up tank? You think she's gonna turn that down?
No, not at all.
Oh, but she might come back and try to tell me, I already told me your problem. You might come back. Oh, I don't know about all that. Oh, you do need that? Oh, okay. Well, man, I'm gonna be over here in this room chilling. I got it, but you gotta come over here. Man, this has just come with 38 years of living, man. I done took some losses. No. I took some W's, man. But it's that big umbrella nowadays, bro. It's like, what is simping? Mm-hmm. Are you living in this? Are you an incel? Are you a motherfucker that live on the internet and really don't know how to talk to women when you come across them face to face? It's motherfuckers like that. No. It's just different generations. It's just oh man, I don't know. But I know what I do, and I know when I do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not doing it all the time. I'd rather keep my money, but sometimes you throw that initial little bait out there, man. It's like going fishing, man. It's like, man, you throw that reel out there and see what you get back, man.
No, well, sometimes
man, that's just my opinion, brother. And no. I seen the simp topic, and man, I just knew I had to call in.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, and it's good, like I say, to have someone with experience, with some understanding, with a little bit of who live life a little bit to really know what it means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, brother.
All right, Eastside, man. I appreciate the call, man.
All right.
All right, there we go. Okay. There we go. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
It's Belle. It's been a little while.
All right, Miss Belle, how are you this evening?
Good. I dipped in early, but I dipped out. What's all this TD, the green and white stuff?
Oh, that's the little membership badge. So like when they offered up, they give me the opportunity to allow memberships on the channel. So when you sign up for a membership, you get like a little badge, and you get to unlock special emojis and other little perks and things, depending on which tier you're on.
So is that different than the monthly ones that we do?
Yeah, it's a different service. So it's like if you're on Patreon, it's you pretty much get a lot of the same. The only thing is this is through YouTube, so that it allows the emojis and the little badges, since it's a different platform.
Okay. All right. I'm a little off on this question because I think of simp as being simple, and either a man or woman can be simple. And sometimes you don't want to see what's right in front of your face, and it's simply right there. If somebody's cheating, they're cheating. If they're not, they're not. But it's not a bad thing to be simple if you choose to close your eyes, then you're ignoring it. That has nothing to do with being simple.
Okay.
I didn't mean that to sound confusing, and it probably was.
No, I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The point is sometimes people just want to keep it simple. They don't want any extra, and just because you like somebody and they're not loyal or they're a gold digger, shouldn't be anything wrong with that other person. It just means that they seem to have a little more faith that things can be positive out there. That's one thing that I see a lot more. People who allow themselves to be vulnerable, to find love or to find somebody, and they choose to go with what is okay to them, somebody else will label them simple because they're not taking it to another level, or they're not doing what somebody else might think that they should. And I've seen that happen a lot. But I didn't hear what your definition of a simp was.
Well, simp it's been a term that has kind of gotten reinvigorated the last couple of months, but it's been a term that's been around for some decades now. And a simp is essentially the opposite of a pimp, for more or less, to put it in the easiest way to digest it. So basically, when it comes to generally men involving themselves in a relationship with women, a simp is the guy who is basically going out of his way in hopes of obtaining some form of female affection, but generally it doesn't work out for him in his favor. And that means whether it is, being that shoulder to cry on, that ear to listen to, spending a bunch of money, paying bills, whatever it may be. But he generally ends up on the outside looking in, even though he does all of the things that women may say that they like and love. Even though he does all of these things, he still is kind of the excluded. So he can be the guy that's been put in a friend zone, or etc. There's many different ways I guess you could be considered a simp. So that's kind of the way we're looking at it.
I completely agree with the definition you're giving. The only thing that I think I fall short on is I think women fall into that category as well. They'll like women that will, they'll like men that will, what do they call that, gaslight them, or that will just, ghost them, but they still want to go back into those relationships because they keep wanting to give it something just to see if it's going to ever get where it needs to go. So there are women that are simps, not just men, but I agree with the definition. And alpha and beta have absolutely nothing to do with being a simp. Totally different categories. I heard you talk about that earlier.
Yeah, I think that there's a difference with that. But I don't know, like I guess because the females being simp thing is interesting, because there's always, like, with a dude, you may have a particular object in your eye. And I guess with anybody, there's always somebody out there that would want you. I guess you just have to be, right place, right scenario. But I still think it's a bit more difficult for dudes. But with women, I've said it once, I've said it 1,000. A woman could go walk out in the middle of the street butt naked, and there's going to be some man within less than a half-mile radius who's going to be more than willing to engage in whatever acts, even though she could be looking like she could be a damn dope fiend, probably, you never know. But because men don't have any shame, so I don't know if women necessarily suffer the simping in the same aspect that men do, as far as being notorious for getting into bad relationships and trying to make those bad relationships work. I would definitely say women probably do a bit more of that than men do. But I don't think they take the same level of losses. Like I say, when you talk about simping, because you're talking about, losing what's the word I'm looking for? There's lots of different levels. So you could be losing in a financial manner. You could be losing in an emotional manner. You could be losing, like I say, physically. Like I say, you could be that ear, that guy who will sit there and listen to all her problems. She's going on dates with all these other dudes and doing all this and doing all. I think it's a lot rarer to have a woman who will listen to a guy's problems with other women than it is the opposite way around, especially if she has some type of interest in it. So like I said, I think it's a little bit different. I think men suffer from it from a bit more, but I do think that there are. I think it needs a different definition, but I think there's a female version of it slightly. But like I said, I don't think women do the same overall in the same manner that men do it on a grander scale.
Yeah, I guess I do kind of have to agree with you on that. But as far as alpha and beta go, those totally have nothing to do with being simp. A simp can either be alpha or beta, because all it means is an alpha goes after what they want. A beta will sit back and wait for it to come to them, or they just kind of watch for an opportunity. They don't. It seems to me, in my opinion, is that alphas are more assertive or aggressive, whereas betas are more passive aggressive, or they'll just kind of lay low until the opportunity's right. But being a simp has nothing to do with either one of those. thought there. Anyway, that's all for tonight, and I hope everybody has a good week, and we'll can't wait to hear the next caller. And I definitely think that Jay's Portraits ought to call in, because he's the one that's been talking about this a lot through the online. But other than that, you know what to do.
All right. Well, Ms. Bell, the bell has rung. Class is in session. I appreciate you calling in this evening, sharing your thoughts with us.
All right.
All right.
Night, y'all.
Have a good evening. Okay, so that'll be an interesting one. Can women be simps? What would be the female version of simping? What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
It's unbeat, man.
Unbeat, man. How you been, man? What's the motherfucking deal? What's on your mind this evening, sir?
Chilling, man. Yeah, the topic is what can be simping be bad?
Yeah, it's simping basically. Is it really as bad as people make it out to be?
Yeah, absolutely. The way I'm looking at simping is, I mean, you're essentially putting yourself down and putting something else in place of that. Like, you essentially put something on a pedestal, like put pussy on a pedestal. It is a lot of times it is a relationship between men and women, but I'm not always told that it's good. Because I think it's a bigger philosophy behind it. Just general self-respect and putting yourself as the top priority in your life, no matter what's going on.
So you would say that you believe women can be simps too?
Can women be simps? I guess. I mean, I don't think it's dominant, you know, because obviously you see men going after women where it's going vice versa is not prevalent. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's popular.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, you have some women who do very simp-like things. You know, so to sit here and just miss and say that they wouldn't, but at the same time, I think there's a difference because, again, it's some of the worst-looking women you've seen in the world is somebody's baby mama, and you know, it is what it is. So I mean, obviously they're getting some kind of action. I think for the men, it doesn't necessarily work out the same way. Even though I don't think it's all, like you said, I don't think it's all about. I think it's kind of a different philosophy behind it. So it's more about not putting yourself at the forefront. So I mean, if you put it in that aspect, I think they can be to an extent, but I think it's just a little bit different when it's a man.
Yeah, and I'm like, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, the only real type of women that would really be attracted to simps would be the attention seekers. Right? They really don't care where they're getting the attention from. You know what I'm saying? It could be from here, it could be from there. But, you know what I'm saying, if the simp is just overwhelmingly going to be able to just put all their energy into this one particular woman, just trying to get into her good graces, I think that's the type of, you know what I'm saying, type of woman that would be interested. I don't think a normal functioning woman would want a man who's all about her 24/7, is putting himself down and is not about his goals and aspirations or whatever else that she finds attractive about.
Pardon me, I muted myself to make sure the thing wouldn't sound loud. Okay. So do you have a simp story?
Man, I think every man is something. It's a part of it, man. But some men don't never come out of it. Man, I mean, I guess it's like a simp story. Like it's more of like a period of time where I was just really kind of like simping over this one girl, and she ended up doing some. I'm not gonna say exactly what, but you can allude to it. She was doing some foul shit behind my back. And I look back at that time and was like, bro, in retrospect, I was like, bro, you was a whole ass simp behind this bitch. Like, ain't no way around it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stop hanging around the homies a lot. Like, just it wasn't a good situation.
Like I said, I understand. Like I say, we all had a story or a phase or a situation where, doesn't mean you go through life, you live, and you hopefully learn. Like you said, not everybody learns. Some people just are perpetually stuck in the state of simpery. But like I say, hopefully you live, you learn, and then you evolve out of that. Okay. Excuse me, pardon me. Okay. Anything else that's on your mind as far as the simping?
No, that's pretty much it.
Well, I appreciate the call, Mr. Unbeaten, sir, and thank you for sharing your thoughts this evening.
All right.
There you go, okay. So everybody has to stay. Some of us just never come out of it. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
Brother Shaolin and Patrick.
Man, brother Shaolin, how have you been, my friend?
Man, it's been a little while, man. How you been, brother? I've been checking out your streams and everything, but I've just been busy. I'm part of the crew that's out here that's called essential personnel, brother.
Yeah, you got to do the essential thing. Us commoners, we don't know nothing about this. So shout out to all the essential personnel. Shout out to all the essential personnel out there, man. Keeping the world rotating. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what's been going on, brother? I've been checking you out. I've been listening to the Simp thing. Y'all was talking about simps and what constitutes a simp and a female simp and all that. What's going on with this female simp stuff, brother?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you think that a female can be a simp?
It's much harder. Let me put it like this: in the main game, females are the choosers. You got to be pretty damn stupid to be a simp if you're a female. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can at least give a brother credit in the main game, for at least try to cheat a little bit as far as being a simp. But if you're a female, I mean, even if you're a big girl, or even if you're unattractive, it's pretty hard to be a female simp. Because, you can check with your Darwinism and everything. Hey, women control the mating game, bro. I mean, that's just how that go. Women are the choosers, and that's pretty much the way that go. You know what I'm saying? So, if you see a female simp, that's a pretty stupid goddamn woman. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but that would be a very, very dumb woman. You know what I'm saying? That would be a pretty dumb woman. You know what I'm saying? Like I know, you ain't got to be attractive to get a man, let alone just get some sex. I mean, I've seen unattractive women get men to marry them. That's easy, So the trick is, if you're the chooser in a situation, and if you're a simp, you're pretty damn dumb. Unless you're a hoe. Getting pimped by a pimp, I would say that may be a different scenario, but to me, as far as I'm concerned, the way I look at it is, if you see a woman that's a real simp, that's a pretty I mean extremely stupid woman. You know what I'm saying? Extremely stupid. Yeah, because I've seen dingy women. But even that, I'm not even talking about them. So I would think that a woman that's a simp, and men don't even classify women as simps. You know what I'm saying? Now I do believe that women value certain men over this. And we've had a discussion about the 80-20 rule, about 80% of the women wanting 20% of the men. Now, I do believe that women may simp for 20% of the men, but that's a pretty small percentage of men, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's my point. You got to be pretty fucking dumb to be a female simp. A little less dumb to be a male simp, because in a lot of cases, in many cases, a lot of men know that they're simps.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more respect for a guy that knows he's a simp or a trick or something like that, especially a guy that is flat out paying for the pussy.
Yeah.
You know, I got a lot more respect for him because, you know, he just buying it and getting what he's paying for, and then he going on about his business. So I got a lot more respect for a male simp than if you show me a female simp. If you show me a female simp, I'll show you a woman that got an IQ under 70. You know, pretty much. You know, that's a dumbass woman. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not saying that don't exist, or she's willingly stupid. She's willingly stupid. Like, I'll give you an example of what I mean. Some women just are suckers for guys that are over 6'2" or 6'3". You know what I'm saying? So they'll be willingly stupid. Just like a lot of guys out here are willingly stupid for a guy with for a woman with a very, very small waist but a big old ass. You know, so men that are 6'2" or 6'3" and above, they're only like 7 or 8% of the population. You know, so that again, that would mean that you're you got to be extremely stupid. You know, to not just do a quick Google search and to find out that guys that are that tall are super rare.
No.
Right. So, no, are there female simps? I would say that they're very hard to come by. It's like a unicorn or a fucking, a four-leaf clover. You know, they're very, and if you do run into one, you be like, God damn, that's like one of the dumbest bitches I've ever met in my life. You know, so, and on top of that, if a woman is that stupid, pretty much any guy can probably fuck her. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's kind of hard to run across a female simp.
No.
Although I don't disagree that they exist. I just say that it's much harder to do. You got to try really hard to be a female simp. Let me just say it like that.
Yeah, I probably agree with that.
No.
I definitely agree.
Because just like you said it. A woman could walk butt naked down the street and be on meth, and there's going to be a guy that sticks his dick in her. Somewhere, somehow. If you do that and you're a male, I mean, you going to prison.
Yep. Yeah, ain't no options, no ifs, ands, or buts. You going to jail now.
Right. Yeah, you going to jail now. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not saying that it's not possible. There's certainly ultra hideous women, but I've seen guys fuck some of the most hideous women on earth. Like unimaginable, and these guys ain't even that bad looking. And to do that, so it's pretty. You gotta try real hard to be a female simp. You gotta try. You have to actually try. A lot of guys that are simps, they do it and not even knowing. You know what I'm saying? But to be a female simp, you gotta pretty much know that you're stupid. That's my take on it. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, I think you'd have to really. There'd have to be something's not functioning properly for you to go out to the extreme. Either it's an extremely ignorant, or just we're talking about bottom of the barrel and low self-esteem. It has to be something that's not fully functional for a woman to feel like that's the route that she has to take. But then I think even to those that would who may participate in that, again, if they are, it's probably on the strength of not even maybe having to do so much with the man, but women are very competitive creatures, and so maybe they see or they feel like they're lacking something, that other women may possess, and that's maybe their form or the way they feel like they have to compete for, maybe a particular gentleman's attention, or maybe men as a whole, or whatever it is they do. So yeah, I would there'd have to be some kind of dysfunction going on there for that to exist.
I don't believe that women are as competitive as men are. Anyway, you know what? I really don't want to go into race specific, but I really don't believe that women are as competitive as men are. Now they do try to. make themselves look better or whatever. But men are very, when it comes to competition, men are pretty primitive. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to competitiveness, I'm not saying that women don't compete; they do compete. But men are, like I said once again, I think the tip of the hat goes to the man again. You know, the work and the competitiveness and the peacocking and all that stuff will probably go to a man. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not excluding women from these sort of behaviors, but you know, men are pretty competitive and they'll hate on each other. They'll do all kind of stuff. Women do these things too.
Yeah.
Now, women do these things too, especially when it comes to a highly desirable man. But men will do this over women that ain't even that damn desirable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
I'm glad you brought that up because we had a question come through the other day, and I'd like to know your thoughts on it. And we were talking about, you know, some of these athletes and rappers or whatever you want to call them, entertainers, who will basically date a woman, and she doesn't even necessarily have to be in entertainment. Usually, it's some video hoe or whatever. But she'll kind of, one famous celebrity is dating her, and as soon as she, is no longer with that dude, you see it's almost like a line. We can talk about the Kardashians and how many athletes ran up after her, until she ended up with Kanye or whatever, however you want to look at it. Like, why do you think that is a thing? Because you just said even men, they'll compete over women that aren't necessarily all that attractive. But like, what is it in your opinion? Is it with men? 'Cause to me, I find that odd. Like, I don't want some other nigga leftovers. But you see this thing.
But,
especially in popular society.
That's interesting that you would ask that question. I remember watching Charlie Murphy, God rest his soul, and he was pretty much asked the same question when they were talking about Rick James and Prince and all these different people or whatever. And he brought this up. He brought this very point that you bring it up because the question was asked of him. What kind of guys were these rich people were going after? And you want to know what he said?
What's that?
He said that those top guys like Prince and Rick James, and guys who were rich that were making all these hits and everything, he said that those guys were pretty much fucking the same women. And which led me to believe that what I've always suspected, beauty is rare. A woman that's extremely, extremely beautiful are rare. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see these guys that are like entertainers, that are millionaires, pretty much running through the same women. Like one woman will break up with one of these stars and then she'll jump to the next star. And he said that, and when I heard him say it took me a long time for that to register. You know what I'm saying? But I've always known that beauty is rare. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, most people are either average, maybe a little bit above average, a little bit below average, or whatever. They're right in there. But when you start talking about the elite, a lot of those guys in the top echelon are passing around the same women. And this is according to Charlie Murphy when he was describing Rick James and all those women that they were like having all these threesomes, and I mean he was saying that they were having threesomes with these women and doing all kind of crazy sexual acts and everything with these women. And he said that he even went so far as to say there was a woman that was that Rick James and everything was fucking, that she looked so good in her 40s and 50s that she was still trying to fuck motherfuckers like Lil Wayne and Drake and people like that. What? So she went from like one generation to the other. He went so far as to say this. And I was sort of listening to the interview, and I found it very, very intriguing, that he would say something like that. And he was just saying like the top-notch women were being passed around to like top-notch dudes, like guys that were rich. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but Martin Lawrence is married, he had 2 daughters, and he got a divorce. And Emmett Smith married her.
Word.
And I believe he has some more kids. But yeah, look it up. But this is not. This is not nothing that's not known. Emmitt Smith married Martin Lawrence leftover. This stuff happens all the time in those elite circles. It happens all the time. I don't know if you knew that, but Martin Lawrence got two. Those girls are grown by now, and two girls. And Emmitt Smith, you know, after Martin Lawrence divorced her, Emmitt Smith pretty much picked up the pieces in like a year's time, married her, and you know, I mean, but that's very common in those circles like that. So if you're elite looking or whatever like that, I mean, we can name these people all day. Look at Sierra and Russell Wilson. You know, Sierra was with Future. I mean, you could go down the line with these examples of. And Sierra's a very attractive woman, and she had a baby with Future, and she married Russell Wilson. I mean, this is not. I mean, even that guy, you know, in the draft, I believe it was C.D. Lamb.
Oh man,
went to Dallas, and that girl dated some NBA player.
Yes, they was
you know,
telling me.
This is not this ain't that far fetched. What I'm saying, it's not very far fetched.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That was quick. We started talking about that. I forgot what player they said. Oh, Trey, was it Trey Young? Was he the?
Yeah, Trey Young.
I think Trey. Yeah, and that's what I said, man. He better leave her on the couch. When that little phone incident right there, that's a red flag of a much bigger problem.
Right.
And so you better leave her on the couch.
Right. That brother. I think the phone incident was C.D. Lamb, wasn't it?
That was C.D. Lamb.
And that chick dated some NBA player, some NBA player that went high in the draft, and you know, this is over generations. You know, immense beauty is rare, and when you start talking about the elites, those elites pass around those very immensely beautiful women. They pass them around. This is known. This is not nothing that's hidden. Now look it up. That's just, you know, Martin Lawrence example. That's just one example.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them. And you know, I mean, you know, Charlie Murphy talked openly about that. He said they were like, he said it straight up. He said, man, those women are like the same women. You can go to like a Prince party, or you can go to like a Rick James party. You go to like a Luther Vandross. He's like, man, it was like the same 12 or 15 women. You know, and I was intrigued by what he was saying. He was like, saying like, see, there may be a variance here or there, but for the most part, the same 12 to 15, 20 women were top notch. You know, for a while that those guys selected, and you know, that's what time it was. And you know, it didn't matter the race. A lot of those women were white, black. You know, it was like a big mixture of different women, but they all were. You know, ran in that circle.
Okay.
You know. Yeah.
All right.
So.
Damn. Deion Sanders, they Jay Prince now. God. Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, once you, especially once they've been introduced to that kind of, Deion ain't gonna say shit about it. But once you've been introduced to that kind of life.
I mean, you can name these people all day. Dr. Dre and Suge Knight both got kids by Michelle A. You know, and they both got a kid by the same woman. You know, so. I mean, you can just go down the line. I mean, you can go to you can go through generations. I mean, this stuff has always happened. I believe it was like, what is it like? Ike Turner, and what's her name? His wife, Ike Turner, drummer, had a baby with Tina Turner before Ike Turner did. I mean, look, the oldest, like one of the oldest sons. You can look at it, man. I'm not thinking you can look this up for yourself. Ike Turner, one of his drummers, had a baby with Tina Turner before Ike got with her. They didn't mention any of this stuff in the movie, but it's true. So I mean, you go through our history and look at this stuff. The elite top women. Those women been passed around, man. Those women they be passed around more than just a regular little hole, you know, in the hood. Yeah. They pass around. They get passed around like that. You In the Jackson family, there's a lot of bullshit like that going on in the Jackson family. I believe one of those two of those Jacksons, both of them got like kids by the same woman. It's like, hey man, it's like it's crazy examples of this stuff. It's crazy. That's where they got that from in the Five Heartbeats. They kind of patterned that after the Jacksons, when the guy was like sleeping with the other, with the brother's boy, the girlfriend, shit like that. That shit happened in the Jacksons. That shit happened with it. That shit really happened with it. That's a weird family, man. That's a fucking weird family, man. The Jacksons, they weird as fuck.
Definitely some definitely a lot of shit we probably don't want to know going on with the Jacksons.
It's some shit that we don't even want to know. I mean, it's like, if there's a judgment day, we'll probably find out about that then. When right before God get ready to strike somebody down and that motherfucker, we might be able to be a fly on the wall to see some shit like that going on. But there's some crazy shit going on in that family, man. That's for real. They talk about all kind of shit with Janet Jackson. She got a kid that's like 30 years old or some shit. There's all kind of crazy shit by Elder Bard or something like that. I mean, a lot of people say that. I don't know how true that is. Honestly, I don't know how true that is. They certainly got enough money to cover that up. But back to your point, it's certainly hard to be a female simp. But if you're elite class, and you're considered to be super, super beautiful, you're getting passed around. Most likely, more than likely. Not in every case. I'm not saying it's 100% or nothing like that. But I'm gonna try to find that video where Charlie Murphy, talked about that. He talked about it very extensively too. And I thought he would say that, oh man, these guys had women all over the place. They didn't have to really do that. No, he said, no, these men that were elites in Hollywood were passing around the same women.
That's a bad deal.
That's what I thought was super crazy. So that's again, that just proves my point. It's hard for a woman to be a simp. It's hard because you got so many men swinging for the fences when it comes down to beauty. I mean, look, all you gotta do is go to a strip club, and you can see it play it out right in your face. I mean, guys that are in there be married to women that they really don't want to be married to, and when they're in there, they spending money on a chick with the baddest body.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not that hard to figure out. This is if Sally had 3 apples and she gave John 1 apple, how many apples does Sally have? This is not that hard to figure out. This is pretty easy. This is pretty easy to figure out. It's not that hard, Yeah. So, yeah, brother. Look, I don't want to hold up your time. You know how I go. I'm gonna hit your rules on your channel, brother. You know how I get down. How do you like your draft, man?
I'm neither here nor there, honestly. I feel the same way.
I heard what you said the other day. You said y'all going to finish last. Mm-hmm. I disagree. Y'all are finishing in front of the Jags at least. Goddamn, man, you went a little hard.
Look, my thing is this: until proven otherwise, every other team under your tenure has gone to an AFC championship. Until Bill proves, to me, it's Super Bowl or bust. I don't see him getting there, so he's going to be a bust to me. I feel like all we did, I don't feel like we got better than where we were last year. I feel like we just filled in some spaces. So, I think other teams actually improved on their status from the years prior. I don't know where we are. 'Cause, if you think about it, who was it? You look at the Jags. That first meeting, they almost beat us, and I think that second time we saw them was -4 net. I'm not putting nothing past nobody in this division as far as until the Texans have proven to me otherwise that they are dominant.
I personally believe our division is better than a lot of people give us credit for.
Yeah.
I believe that Tennessee made it as far as they did because they were battle tested. Against the teams in the division, who I give a lot of credit to. I believe that's why they made it as far as they did, and because of the balance. Personally, I wanted to see the Texans played the Titans in the AFC Championship game. I've maintained that. You know, everybody know that I said that, so I was pretty. But I ain't gonna clog your channel up with football talk. I'm gonna adhere to the 10-minute rule, and I'm gonna jump out of here, brother. I'm gonna let somebody else get a chance to come in and then contribute to your content, brother.
All right, well, Mr. Shaolin, man, as always, man, it's good to hear from you, man.
All right, brother. Jay, good talk to you, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, you too. Have a good evening.
All right.
Yeah, Texans. We don't want to get into what the Texans are not doing. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
Texans give me crippling depression. What's happening, Hinchy? It's Jason.
You need some Prozac for that. What's going on, Jason? That's what's on your mind, man.
All right. Let's talk about OnlyFans.
What's on your mind with OnlyFans, man?
Do you think paying for what is paying for porn in general? Do you think paying for porn is one of the symptoms, I guess, symptoms of a simp?
I see what you're doing there. If you're gonna say paying for it is a symptom of a simp, then you might as well say watching it is also a symptom of a simp. But you got to really look at it like this. And again, for all you adult educational information watchers, which you shouldn't be because you're a juvenile. Because I mean, what are you doing when you watch porn? What are you doing? Depending on the category, whatever you're watching other people have pleasures. Either you're watching other people do it and you're on the outside looking in, like some type of weird voyeur shit, or you're like some kind of weird pervert watching some chick doing some solo type stuff or whatever. Like whatever it is, it's weird shit. So if you're watching it, period, it's questionable. But people are going to watch it. Now, if you're going to pay for it, I don't think that is any different than just watching it. Because I mean, if you're going to pay for something you want, you know what I mean. If it's something that you truly want, if it's something customized, or if it's a particular entertainer that you enjoy and you want to support their work because you want to see them continue to stay in the industry, that's fine. Like the OnlyFans thing doesn't really make or break to me the simpery. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's that's kind of along the lines of the tricking, but again, it's very vague because then you're like, well, you're paying for something you're never going to get. But again, it's not that you're never going to get it. You're paying for this person, and this is looking at it like a content creator, and this is not just as a porn actress or whatever. So if somebody's doing the OnlyFans, they're independent, their business model or whatever, I support that wholeheartedly. I can't knock that because I'm all about people, you know, being independent business people as opposed to work for some big studio or whatever. So I'm not going to knock any chick who goes out and hustles up their little OnlyFans money. Some of them are doing very well, actually. So, you know, it is what it is. If people are willing to pay, it's about, you know, hey, if the market dictates that there are people who are willing to pay for it, then they start your business. I'm not going to knock it. Porn is porn, whether you're paying for it, whether you're not. So it kind of is what it is. That's no different than motherfuckers used to go buy, you know, VHSs and DVDs or whatever back in the day. I mean, it's just not as convenient. So OnlyFans, while questionable, no. Maybe, I don't know. Again, like I say, maybe it depends, scenario by scenario. But for the most part, in a general aspect, if it's an entertainer you like, then fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Go do what you do. I mean, does it make it any worse than a motherfucker who goes to the strip club to make it rain? Like, you may not necessarily be getting no action. You may be getting entertained by what they're doing. But 9 times out of 10, you're not getting some action unless you straight up paying for it. Then it's a tricking situation. So I have no issue with OnlyFans.
What about people who pay for it, but the person who's running the OnlyFans is going non-nudity? Does that make any difference, or is that still on the same level?
If it's non-nudity, then you're just supporting somebody's work. I mean, you may be an artist, a fan of it. Like, again, like I say, looking at it with the content creator lenses on. Is this person creating content that you enjoy? Is it exclusive content, or is it whatever it may be? And if you enjoy it or you support what they're doing, then I have no problem with it. Now, if you just, I don't know, I can't knock it. Like I said, now, if you're hoping for sex from this person, and then you're like hoping that maybe if I don't know. Like, I mean, if you're sending them love letters and doing all this other shit and like knowing that it's never going, then it'd be weird. It'd be different. But if this is a person you like what they do and you're not like having this infatuation that it's going to be a relationship, you understand this is a porno star and you just like their porn activities and you want to support them, keep them in the industry, then do what you do. You know what I'm saying? And this is true, Eastside, depending on which strip club it is. There is sex in the champagne room, but some of y'all may not get that reference. But yeah, I mean, just if it's non-nudity and that's what you're paying for, cool. Like I said, I know I saw the thing with the chick with the Instagram who basically reposted a bunch of Instagram pictures and motherfuckers was paying damn near $30 a month for it. If people are willing to pay for your content, whether it's semi-nude, nude, non-nude, whatever it may be, I have no issues with that.
People are willing to pay for your content. If they like it so much and they want to pay for it, raise the price.
But then again, you don't want to be that type of person.
Pocket.
I mean, but here's the thing, though. Are you trying to hose people, or are you trying to just have a legitimate business where you can live a certain lifestyle, or you just trying to support certain elements of your business? Like, so as far as over raising the price or doing anything, I think there's multiple factors again, depending on what it is, what kind of content you're producing. It depends on, what your genre is, what aspect of entertainment you're in. Like I say, it's a whole lot of different factors. But at the same time, you don't want to just try to squeeze anybody for anything. Again, like I said, these are people who have other things they have to take care of in their day-to-days too. So, you don't want to look at it like, well, I'm just going to try to break everybody for every dollar I can get them for. But some people do think like that, and they're entitled to it. Some people pay for the shit. So, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just so many different issues that go into each person and what they do, how they do it, and why they're doing it. So, I think again, I'm not knocking anybody. I think as long as you have good intentions in what you do, if your whole sole purpose is, I'm doing this to try to break people from their pockets or whatever, like if you don't really enjoy anything you're doing and the whole thing's about money, then I don't think that's maybe what you should be doing. Because eventually, things are going to change, and so you got to deal with that. But again, who am I? I don't know. Ooh,
because
900.
Because in my opinion, they think that if you watch porn, then it really depends on what you're watching it for. If you're watching it to just masturbate, and legit care less. If you're watching it because you want to support the person, I mean, I have no problem with it. But if you're watching it and you're paying for it, I feel like that's just wasting money. Mm-hmm. Because porn's free. Anybody can access it.
But here's the thing, and this is what's wrong with this new generation, right? Because it wasn't always free, right? It wasn't always free. Now it is. Now because
you had to go buy VHS tapes.
Because it's oversight. Yeah, there was no internet, there was no dial-up, there was none of that stuff. And again, these people are, depending on what it is they're doing, they're putting themselves out for a reason. And again, whether they're individuals, whether they're working for a studio, whatever it may be, again, like I said, I'm trying to look at it from the business aspect of it. If there's a market for something and it's understood this is what you're selling, cool. Now, again, if you're talking about you become like a stalker and you're buying all of this person's stuff to get their attention, to hope that maybe they'll recognize you, to hope that, look, hey, I bought all your stuff, will you go on a date with me? That's when it gets weird. That's when it's like,
yeah,
now we got to talk about some stuff.
That's definitely when you should have some restrictions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's what I said. I think again, like I said, it just comes down to the situation itself. Now, would I personally be paying for a non-nude OnlyFans? No. Would I personally be paying for an OnlyFans? No. And again, that's just me personally. Now, there are people who would like. And honestly, there could be like one scenario where I might consider it, but we'll talk about that at another time. And then, but not really, like 99% chance there's absolutely no way. You know what I'm saying? There's like no way I'd fucking do it. It's crazy. That fandom thing that you talk about, Heidi, yeah, that's a thing where it's literally bitches who don't do anything. they'll have whole. Now this is a super simpery weird thing. Like I think that whole category of entertainment is it's simping. It's pure simping. I mean that's what it's all about. It's basically motherfuckers who give women their access to their checking accounts, their money. These motherfuckers will have a whole family, a whole everything, and allow these women to control their income. Some of these women will break these dudes for everything they got. Motherfuckers will basically be in trouble with their wives. Like that's the shit I don't understand. How you have a whole family and you're out there tricking on some random woman and letting her control your money, or motherfuckers will break them for everything they got except for their bills. Like, and they get off on this shit. Like, they get get off on these things and they're okay with it. Like their whole goal is to get treated like shit. Like I could never understand it, but I guess that's the thing that people want. So, so it is what it is.
Yep. And now for my last question, and this is probably going to be it. Do you think simps can transform into nice guys?
Do I think simps can transform into nice guys? I think most simps are nice guys, and that's their problem. All they know is nice.
Yeah, but the thing about these types of nice guys is that when they don't get what they want, they start.
They start what?
They start whining and sending death threats because of it.
I wouldn't even say that. A lot of these motherfuckers just suffer through it. A lot of these simping motherfuckers are suffering in silence, not going to do anything about it because they still don't want to upset whoever it is they're trying to get it with just the hope and possibility that they still might get that outcome. So I don't think a lot of them are sending death threats and doing all that. I think a lot of them are just suffering or they're accepting their losses and continuing to move on. I think you have a couple of outcomes. You have one. You get in a simp situation, you get your feelings hurt, and you learn from it, and you grow. You have a simp situation where they simp and they just remain permanent simps. It's just who they are. They suffer in silence. And then what you mentioned, I think, would be like the third thing. I don't even know if it's necessarily so much a simp, probably more so a crazy person, if they're sending death threats and things like that. So that's kind of where I that's where I would look at that.
Because I saw a thread on a picture on Reddit. This dude was trying to get over his breakup. He was talking to his female friends who was in a relationship, and he tried to get her out of that relationship. She wasn't having it, and then he started to get all mad and started to bring up a lot of stuff. He said, "I hope you get another eating disorder and have a heart attack." Yeah, they can definitely become hostile if they don't get what they want.
Okay. And I can see it. I mean, there's dudes out there like that. Like I said, it's unfortunate, but some people believe that's the best route. Yeah, like I say, we all learn. I think everybody has to learn.
Well, just Sarah, now you know I don't have any money, so I can't donate. I do have money. I have $92, but the only way I can really fit those $92 into my phone is if I just open up my phone, put them in there, and then just fix it. But then that would cause the phone to break. So, yeah, I'm kind of screwed.
You could sell me a dog for free. And one of those fancy dogs you got. No, definitely would not eat the dog.
Oh, then what's the point of sending it?
No comment.
I'm just fucking with you, Honcho.
I have nothing for you there.
All right, I'm gone.
All right, Mr. Jason, I appreciate the call, man. Terrible. But I see some of the new emojis getting put into good use. So there's that. Shout out to Jason next time. But here's the thing, and again, there's nothing wrong with inquiring, having questions, wanting to call, want to understand. This is what this community is all about. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
The one and only Miss Grace.
Hello, Miss Grace. How are you this evening, Miss Grace? How's life
I'm
treating you?
doing well. I'm doing well. You all are teaching me so much. Well, I'm telling you, I'm just calling all my friends and tell them all the crap that I'm learning off the den. Okay? This simp thing. Women can be simp. But I just didn't know that semantic. And I'll give you an example. There are some women that they're so busy trying to please the man that they will never do anything to inconvenience them. For instance, if they need a ride, rather than bothering the man that they're fucking, they'll call you up and inconvenience you no matter how busy you are and ask you for a ride. And that used to always baffle me, but I've seen women do that stuff. That's something to me. You know, go ask your man. You know, if they want to borrow money, they don't want to borrow it from the man. They'll call you up and try to borrow it from you. They'll always inconvenience everybody else except for the man that they're with because they want that man to think that he's not being bothered, that they're independent. You mean they're an independent woman, they don't need him for anything, and they just cater to him. You know, I saw one of my friends went as far as she used to have like the bowl of apples on the kitchen table. And one day I went over there and I'm like, oh, she said, oh, don't touch those apples, those belong to Tom. They were the big delicious apples. And she said, no, you can have one of those apples. The other apples had the cheaper apples, so that was for the kids. And I'm like, why does Tom get the bowl of these expensive, delicious apples with the lumps on the bottom, and the kids get this one? Why can't you just get the whole bowl with the lumps on it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Hello?
No, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's that same thing where these women will feed their man steak while their kids get hot dogs, even if the kids don't want the hot dog. No, everybody's eating hot dogs or everybody's getting steak in my world.
Correct.
You know, so to me, I think that's a form of something, wouldn't you?
That's a good point. That's a good point. But I think, like I say, I think because with the connotation that's been with simping for so long, that it generally comes from, you know, favors being done and not necessarily getting a benefit out of it. Would you say that those women are getting a benefit because they're actually happy with the partner they're with, even though they may not be doing, or to the outside eye, it may not necessarily be benefiting them, but they seem to be happy with the partner that they're with? Would you agree or disagree with that?
Because they're not getting the benefit that they want. You mean in order to hold on to that man, they have to keep on doing things, inconveniencing themselves, inconveniencing others. You mean so they can't? I can't imagine how they would be happy in that. They just want the man. And I'm sure they would like for the man to do more things for them, but they're afraid that if they ask him to, then he'll leave. You know, so they want to be the easy broad. You know, and I'm going to give you a case in point. If my daughter's listening, I know she won't mind. Remember I told you my daughter has a best friend named Vanessa. She is the Mac Daddy of domestic goddesses. She's sharp like that. But the way she grew up with her mother, she got so totally destroyed that every man wants her, but those aren't the ones that she wants. She likes those guys that come fresh out of jail, and she admitted she loved when she's sleeping and her boyfriends would come in, and if they say, hey, bitch, get up out of bed and fix me some steak, she said she loves that feeling. So she gets up and she peels those potatoes and she makes fresh mashed potatoes and she cooks that steak with that corn and everything for him and his friends, even if he doesn't want to eat it.
Really?
What would you call that?
Oh, that's a lot. That's conflicted. I would think. I think there's a lot going on there.
And she's the nicest person ever. My daughter's like her big sister, very protective of Vanessa. And Vanessa gives me the utmost respect. She said I remind her of her grandmother. And my daughter is her daughter's godmother, Zilly. And when Vanessa when she was 14 and had the first kid, she was in a foster home. She gave that kid away. And then when she had Zilly, my daughter was going to take the baby. So when Vanessa went into labor, my daughter had to go to the hospital. She had piercings down, but I said, "You're a better friend than me because that baby would have got her eye cut open from the mother's clit coming out because I ain't taking no piercing out of there." You know, so my daughter had to remove the piercing. You know what I mean, so that they could deliver the baby. You know, so then when my daughter came home, I said, "So what's it going to be? Are we getting the baby or not?" And my daughter said, "No." Vanessa took a look at Zilly, and she goes, "I think I like her." You know, now Zilly's like 18 years old. You know, now remember I told you I write. Do you mind if I do a quick reading? Because I told Trilby the other day I make up stories about every way. I write stories, but I make up names for everybody. And Trill said, "Wow, Miss Grace, I do the same thing." You know I do, Honcho.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go for it.
Okay? So, okay, let me see. Vanessa. Although Vanessa was stunningly beautiful with her long flowing, soft pecan-colored hair and her pronounced facial features, which were blessings from her Dominican pimp father, who she never knew, and her Irish, French, Italian drug addict mother, who pimped Vanessa when she was a little girl to supplement her drug habit, when she was no longer able to fetch a decent amount of money to supplement her ever-increasing bad habit. Vanessa resembled a new and improved version of Cher. Because her self-esteem wasn't where it should be due to the trauma in her life, she felt the need to go under the knife and get triple D breast implants. After that, she would go back 2 more times until her boobs were to her liking, as well to the liking of any man who laid eyes on her tits. The only clue or knowledge that she had of her father was from an old photo that her mother had. It was a photo of an obvious pimp pictured surrounded with her mother as a young, beautiful whore girl and 2 other whore girls who were probably part of his stable. When questioned about her dad, her mother would make him out to be some nice guy. But one look at that photo, and even Stevie Wonder would be able to see that her father was a no-good-for-nothing asshole, and if there was a televised version of a fuck-up award show, her mother would surely take the winning prize, and she'd probably blow kisses to the audience and take a bow while she was at it. Vanessa's primary years were with her grandmother, where she grew up in a beautiful Victorian home on the water. Her grandmother not only showered her with the best of material goods that life could offer, most importantly, she gave Vanessa the love and security that any child would need to survive. That security would be ripped out of her life the day her grandmother succumbed to brain cancer, and she would become her mother's meal ticket. Vanessa was taught by her mother to hide while her mother did her filthy deeds with various men, and have Vanessa crawl out from hiding while the men were preoccupied and steal their jewelry, money, or anything else that her mother could use to get more drugs. One night, on one of those mother and daughter con expeditions, to Vanessa and her mother's surprise, the John got a premature ejaculation and finished just in time to spot Vanessa going through his pockets. "What the fuck's going on here?" he yelled. As Vanessa's mother tried to calm him in order for Vanessa to finish getting the goods, he slapped Lita so hard that she flew against the wall before he went after Vanessa. "Oh, so you want to play grown-up games, huh, little girl?" he sneered. Vanessa began to crawl backwards as the John neared her. "I'm sorry, mister. Here's your stuff. You can have it back. Just leave me alone, please, mister," as she held his possessions out to him and began to whimper. The John shook his wormy little dick at her, and everything became a fog. The only comfort Vanessa had was seeing a vision of her soft, beautiful, loving grandmother. Everything else became a fog. That's Vanessa's story.
But I had to make sure I muted it so that way, it wasn't none of background noise or anything getting into it. That is you wrote that, Miss Grace?
I wrote that. You know I write.
That is very intriguing. That is deep. That is very deep. I'd like to hear the rest of the story. I mean,
I have other characters.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's Vanessa. And Honcho, she is such a doll. You know what I mean? She's really sweet. She's nice. She's the ultimate woman, ultimate domestic goddess. She's incredible. but she's so messed up in the head that every man wants her. Even very successful businessmen that have companies will pay for Vanessa. You mean she'll take that, but she'll always, and she's the one that has that boyfriend out of jail with the domino dick. No, because I told my daughter I need to call Vanessa up because I want to interview Corey. I want her to ask him questions. I want to know about that domino dick. My daughter gets mad because I keep asking about it. That she feels it. Can you see it? My daughter, oh, you're so nosy. You're so nosy. Okay. You know, so she's learned to be a simp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and it's unfortunate because that's the way it seems like things work out. When you do have good people, they end up, being attracted to or wanting people that may not be most ideal for them. And so I could definitely see what you're saying with her situation of being, like you said, a domestic goddess, and then wanting somebody who probably has absolutely no appreciation for her domestic abilities. They just want what they're going to get out of whatever situation that they come into. And it's unfortunate that she can't find somebody who may appreciate it a little bit more. But the domino dick thing, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. She grew up in the big, beautiful Victorian home on the water. The grandmother, she came from money. Mm-hmm. The grandmother, all three of her kids became drug addicts and alcoholics. Okay, so they sold off all of that stuff. So Vanessa always, she'll cuddle next to me. She says, you remind me of my grandmother. When I put on my full-length diamond mink coat, she says, my grandmother used to wear things like that. You remind me of my grandmother. And it makes her feel cozy. And I feel so badly because she's jacked up. She's a simp. Pull my hair, drag me out of bed, make me get up and peel those potatoes and cook that steak and everything from scratch. She likes that.
I think there's some people who kind of have a misguided belief in what love and affection is, and I think that's bad.
Yeah. But I'm glad you liked my story. I don't know if anybody else got to hear it. Did they get to hear it?
Yes, I believe they got to hear it. Heidi likes to hate and say crazy things, but yes, they definitely heard it.
I'm sure she did. I
saw a few references to the wormy little dick, so I'm pretty sure they heard it.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I'm not going to stay on the phone. I'm going to listen to others. Because I'm not going to try to hog at the phone because my birthday is Thursday.
Yes.
And where John hijacked Mrs. Bell's birthday that time, and then Mrs. Bell hijacked my daughter's, nobody's hijacking mine. I'll tell you that right now.
Already. I'm gonna make sure I have a special slot reserved for only Miss Grace on her birthday.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Grace. I appreciate you calling. You have a good evening. Shout out to Miss Grace. That was an excellent reading. We're gonna have to. I won't call it show and tell. We'll have to do like an evening where maybe folks can share some of their writings or their artistic abilities or something of that nature. We haven't done a karaoke in a while, and I feel like the karaoke should go to the Discord. We got about 10 minutes. I think we ended up on we'll let Miss Grace end the night tonight. She'll be the final call of the evening. So shout out to Miss Grace. Let's do a couple of things. Well, show and tell is for me only. I get all the goods. I show y'all the stuff that y'all don't get to see the special stuff. That's part of being the host. Nah, but all bullshit to the side. No, man. It was very nice, very nice. The latest Be For Real article.
Heidi Kleindienst donated $2 through Super Chat. Where is Broderick? He disappeared into fat air.
I'm trying to figure out where and why I can't. I should at least be able to monitor the sound on this. So like whenever the voice talks now, I don't hear anything. I can just see when the meters are moving, and so I have to assume from that. But yeah, a couple of things, man. One, shout out to all you wonderful people. I appreciate y'all being here. Two, shout out and appreciate Ms. Bell becoming a member. For those of you who may or may not know, because I mentioned it last time, I guess it helps to mention it so people can understand how everything, excuse me, works. If you want to have the fancy badge or to use the custom emojis, and actually have two more I think I can add to the den. So maybe we'll take a vote or suggestions on additional den emojis to add. I think we have two for hang-ups, so I'm thinking maybe we should do a couple of positive emojis for good calls and things of that nature. So as we got a hang-up, we got two hang-up emojis, so I guess maybe two of them for good calls. We'll do them something positive. At least one good one. Maybe I need to do one of the Chacal. That'll be interesting. Honestly, when it comes down to everything, anything YouTube related takes a bigger cut, John. Streamlabs, honestly, they don't really take a cut. They have like their little processing fees, but it's generally nothing that bad. Pretty much every service has like some level of fees, whether it's, via PayPal. If you pay via PayPal takes their cuts. But Streamlabs, I don't think they really take anything. They just are kind of like a segue between things. But now what Streamlabs does have now is they do offer a service though, where you can do a couple of things. And I was thinking about it, but I'm like, I don't know if it's worthwhile enough to sign up for. But they do a couple of things, and one of those things is like, I know if with Streamlabs, because it takes you to a different page, it allows you to still, go to a different page, but still keep the live stream going. I know that's something a lot of people have said when going to Streamlabs, you don't want to miss out on the stream. And so I think they fixed that and some other little things, but the Streamlabs doesn't take anything. With YouTube, it's about 30%. But the thing about it, I get it, is because it's so much more convenient. And so, it is what it is. So, there's that. But what kind of service? Well, I'm going to be, but start in May. I'm off for Hot Boy Summer service. We got to get rid of this Corona. See, Hot Girl Summer brought you to Rona. So Hot Boy Summer we're going to get rid of it. Nah, but for those of you who want, like I said, the special badges, and the badges go like by however many months you've been a member, like the badges will change colors. But like I say, if you want to be a part of that, you go down to the little super chat symbol, and I think it gives you three things. It gives you the join. It's like the last one. It's got super chat, like super sticker, and then join. So if like you want to become a member, you hit the join button, and there's like 3 or 4 different tiers. And then like I said, if you want the custom emojis and things like that, it's like the $1.99 tier, and it'll sign you up, or you can sign up for there. And then like I said, you'll get the custom emoji stuff, you'll get the badge that just says how long you've been a member of that, and some other stuff going on. I gotta see what else is on there. But like I say, if you're already like a Patreon supporter, aside from the custom emojis, a lot of it is the same thing. What else was I gonna do? Yes, Honcho the main Honcho. I have that shirt in the shop tomorrow morning, along with the interesting shirt, and I got 2 more shirts. I think I'll just go ahead and put them in instead of waiting for them to come in. Make sure you're hustling your pistachios. Everybody got to add the early birds from today and last stream. Remember, at the end of the month, whoever has the most pistachios will get some type of exclusive den merch. Let me see. All right, Broly, you want to be the first guest in the den? I'll bring you on. So we will do that. Say check the message. That's a bit. Man, I'm about to check in a minute. You worried that thing gonna be back normal. Nothing is ever going to be normal again. What are you talking about back normal in 2020? Like, nothing's going normal again. It's over with. It's a wrap, sir. So there's that. But with that being said, let me think. Is there anything that I've missed? Pretty sure there's something I'm supposed to have been talking about that's going on in the world today. But until I can remember what it is, no big deal. In fact, where's my phone at? I don't talk about it. Oh, it's somewhere around here. Oh, it's on the charge, that's right. Let's see. No, it shouldn't. Did pistachios not show up? $1,000 house gets part of the wow. I'm telling you what I think is going to happen after all this stuff happens. I'm going to save the stream later in the week, so I'll spill some quick thoughts on this. Is going to let stuff go back to relatively normal. Then I think there's going to be an uptick in cases, and then I think things will start. That curve will start to finally start flattening. So I think once they start letting people go back to do what they do, because I don't think it's the politicians' fault. I think just Americans, wow, we're stupid. They're going to do stupid stuff, and and so it's just like. I don't think we've seen the worst of it, honestly. So I think it's going to get real ugly. I think it's actually going to be worse once they let everybody go back, because people are going to feel like, oh, well, it's over with. Now we can do, et cetera, et cetera. And they're going to be back to kind of the reckless behavior. And, because I don't get the point of, like, telling a place, well, you can be 25% capacity. Like, how? Like, a lot of salons and shit still ain't open. My thing is, like, if you opening restaurants to sit in, like, you might as well open up the fucking barbershop and everything else, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my thoughts on that whole thing. Let's ask the med student. I don't know any med students, so if I knew a med student, I would definitely ask them to get their opinion on it. Only med students I know are out there making fucking TikToks and shit. So Mayor Life. That's one day we're going to talk about all the stuff wrong with the mayor of Chicago. Just all of it wrong. And yes, Ronald Isaac, for the people whose names are green, they are channel members. So if you would like to become a channel member, hit the green, or hit the little super chat button. And then there's like a button that says join, and then select your tier and become a member. That's what I would like. I'm always, me, I definitely, everybody knows I'm Team Thanos. I wish he would have succeeded. I was rooting for him. Like, I was super rooting for him both times. All right. You got at Jay's Portraits. All right, that's better. I'm gonna check it out. A baby bird. Do I social? I really don't. And let me tell you why, right? And I know it makes sense. And here's why I should definitely do more. One, all the social links are in the description below, so I guess I can post this up. But if you follow on the gram, generally, just let me know who you are. I do my best to try to follow back. So even if you're following me on the Ed Honcho account, and I'm not following you back, and you want to follow back, just shoot me a DM. I do my best if I know who it is. I do my best to try to follow back. Appreciate the love, Heidi. As far as wondering where Broderick is, you may be the only person who's wondering about that. Ed Honcho HCX on Instagram and Twitter. Didn't show live on Facebook. Honestly, If you just want to keep up with what's going on, follow on Instagram. I usually post before I'm going live there. Join the Den Discord, right? Join the Den Discord. That's of the utmost worth. I really don't follow back on the Soft Sports page. Like that one, I really don't follow back on that page. So that's why I say if you want to follow, just hit me on the Ed Honcho HTX. I'll follow on that one, not on the other one. And what was the other thing I was going to say? What was I going to say? Ed Honcho HTX, those. Yeah, just let me know. I'll usually follow you back on that. But with that being said, we'll be in the Discord, I guess, a little bit after the stream if y'all want to chop it up. But if not, I'm trying to produce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Like y'all ain't got to go home. I'm encouraging you to go to the Discord and, all that good stuff. And I'll catch y'all next time till tomorrow evening. And we'll be back at it. So, with that being said, yeah, the Discord is a beautiful place. Heidi's afraid because she doesn't have the appropriate toxicity levels to hang with the gang. But I appreciate y'all, man. Again, it is my honor, my privilege, but most of all, my pleasure. Until next time, we out.